When I started to think about the logo of Kneaver, my idea was to play on the two words knowledge and weaver. So my idea was to start in this direction, like this, with very straight letters. The straight letters were representing the rigorous aspect of knowledge, of aligning lines after lines of definitions and ideas and rules and principle and whatever we can have, and then to make the difference between what I call the weaver, which is this idea of taking the knowledge and passing a thread between the different ideas and connecting the different ideas. And so the original idea was to write it like this: weaver. Now, if you want to play with this concept, it's rather interesting because you can take this piece of paper and animate it so that what is really the name of the product becomes hidden, and so now you have Kneaver, which is the real name of the company and of the product, and you can roll it like this. So to mark the cut, the fact that the two group of letters are coming from two names, I put a solid vertical line like this, and now you have what is the current logo of the company, which is very simple. It's just two colors for the two group of letters and a vertical line to divide them, to remember us that it's actually coming from two words contracted. Now, more recently I've been thinking about it again, and I thought, well, I would like to express this idea of weaver into something which is more flexible. As you see here, we had the same font on both sides, so now we can try to do something a little bit different by reusing knowledge exactly the same way, but instead of writing the weaver in straight lines, to use a font which is more flexible, like a script, almost like a script, you see, so with little lines and so on. And now if I do the same game, and if I fold it in the same way, I have something which is a little bit more interesting, because I will have not only a contrast of colors, but I will have a contrast of fonts as well inside the name. And this gives this idea of combining the rigor of the writing and the compilation, the collection of knowledge on one side, and this flexible idea and the more creative idea of combining the ideas together and linking freely from one ID to the other, being free from the obligation of listing all the IDs one below another, like in a document, and being also more organized than let's say a simple drawing where things will be there, but you will have a hard time to understand the connections. I've been in this idea of logos earlier for another company, and the advice that I was giving at that time was, don't make it complex. So the company was called Caroline Informatic, which is in French means computer science or IT, if you like. And the logo we end up with at the end of a long evening of brainstorming, very stormy brainstorming with a lot of beer, was to make it extremely simple with just like a C, like this, and a big I. I don't remember exactly how it was. I'll surely have a copy somewhere, but again, using a contrast of two colors, it's something that was giving the idea. I think the I was round. Yes, it was something like this. So everything was written in a circle. It was a little bit like a symbol of yin and yang, where you have two colors and you have one color coming into the other, giving the idea we wanted to give, which is we do software for the manufacturing and software for the industry, but we do it with a twist of adding a lot of thinking about making it the best we can, and to making it the smarter we could, so that we were over-delivering on the initial requirement, but giving something that was more lasting. And then for Kneaver, I have a problem, which is that if you want to deliver software, you have to build an icon, so it has to fit into a square. And so far my solution has been to reuse the K, and because I have no space to put any other letter, I just reuse the bar, the vertical bar, and so it gives something like this. But I'm not happy with that. So now that I had this idea of the curvy letters, I'm thinking maybe of doing something like this with a K, the same K, maybe going a little bit further, and then have the N from Kneaver on top of it, but with a curvy shape and in orange. Something like this. So if I use this icon and if I use this solution, I will make a small change compared to the original logo, but I would be more comfortable with it. Otherwise, I had another icon I've been using for a while. I forget it. And I will try to draw it very quickly. And this icon was a little bit different. It was more insisting on the network of the knowledge, with, you see, with an arrow like this, and a shape which is again another direction for other ideas, and it's more like this, again, a third one here. So that's all black. And I forgot about this logo. It's not too bad. The drawback I see from it is that it's a little bit complex and it doesn't remind the name. So from the concept of the logo to the ideas which are behind what it represents really, and to the name, the translation, it's difficult to go from one idea to the other. You don't see a K, you don't see an N, you just see a little bit like a mind map, a little bit like a beginning of a concept map. So I don't think I will use it. Another logo I was using was more trying to symbolize the K as some kind of stylistic picture of carrying and offering knowledge, something like this, where the K was used. Graphically, it's interesting, it's a nice concept, but again, and that's the same problem with this one. If you want to turn it into an icon, in an icon you have very few pixels. It ends up being pixels, and you have very few pixels. So you need to be aware that if you do something too detailed on the icon, it will not show properly and it will be garbage. So that was my little explanation on the logo of Weaver, a Knowledge Weaver, and why I end up choosing that.